Is this love for real, or is it just to get US citizenship? That is what Claire here is wondering. We got her on the voice disguiser.
After watching that debate, somebody actually wants to move here.
Right. I hear you, man.
Sorry, I couldn't resist.
Yep. Hey, Claire, good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. Thanks for having me.
Good. How are you today?
I'm doing good.
All right. So is this about you, or is this about a friend, family member?
So this is about a family member, my sister. So she met her now husband when she was working abroad, and they worked together for about 2 months before they had to kind of separate and do long distance. And then shortly after that, he decided to come move to the U.S. with her on a travel visa. So a lot has happened since then, obviously. So pretty much once he moved here, or right before he moved here, actually, she did find out from somebody that there was some infidelity in the relationship when they were long distance, but she obviously decided to forgive him and move past that and move in together. And shortly after moving together, about 6 months, they got engaged, which isn't surprising because she is a little bit older, so she's trying to settle down and have a family, and they did seem compatible at the time. But then they kind of surprised us when they got engaged pretty quickly and then went off and eloped in the courthouse so he could go ahead and start his visa process so he wouldn't have to be deported and do long distance again, where she feared he might not be faithful.
Mm-hmm.
So, fast forward, to one, when you're on a visa, with a K-1 visa, she had to sign to be a financial sponsor for him. So that adds a whole another layer of stress to where even if they did get divorced or anything, she is financially responsible for him.
Really?
In the U.S. Yes.
Huh.
And that is minimum, it seems like 10 years of him working, but if he decided that he didn't want to work or if he got hurt or anything, she could be financially responsible for his whole life while he's here. So that's kind of stressful for everybody. But anyway, the past year, stress has definitely built up for them financially as he doesn't seem super motivated to work. They're both entrepreneurs, so he has worked while he's here, but in contributing what she thought was as much as he could. But then she found out he's actually been investing his money into crypto instead of helping contribute towards bills first and their credit card debt. So that's where the big dilemma has happened with this financial infidelity. She asked to sit down and talk over finances and see how much he's putting into crypto. And he just outright refused and said that, you're not my mom, I can handle my finances. And he said that he didn't love her anymore and just would rather get a divorce than looking over finances. So what was weird was that quickly after saying all those hurtful things, and like y'all talked about before, by the time you want a divorce, things have probably not been good for a little bit in their eyes. Mm-hmm. He has now said, we can try to work it out. I'll sit down with you. But then it was a whole week before they sat down, and he did log into his bank account. She saw that he didn't have much money in there, and they talked about budget and stuff, but obviously I'm if he hasn't been truthful before, he could have just moved around the money. So that would be my fear, but they came up with amounts that he could put towards crypto each month that they'd be comfortable with, so he could help contribute towards their rent and car payment and all that stuff. And after agreeing upon that, she found out a few days later he admitted that he put in $100 more than what they agreed upon. So she's just not really sure what to do. Obviously, there's been a loss of trust. They're not communicating very well.
Is she? Are they still in a window where, if she gets divorced, he goes back to whatever country it was that he came from?
So that's what I'm worried about. So pretty much after you've been married for 2 years, it sounds like it's pretty hard to get out of the sponsorship and to get them out of the U.S. So it's been that 2-year window barely. And then what I'm wondering is, did he change his mind all of a sudden that he doesn't want to get divorced? Because at the end of the year, they have a 3-year meeting with the government, and after that meeting, he can get his 10-year visa.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
That's probably it right there.
I mean, I'd get out now.
The math is mathing.
Yeah, I started to check out the conversation with the first infidelity. The fact that did that happen while he was in the country already, or he still hadn't gotten his visa?
He still hadn't gotten his visa. He was in a different country at that point.
Yeah, that would have been it for me.
But he was in a different country, so it doesn't count. Yeah, what happens there stays there.
That's only Vegas. That's not. Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's a new NATO rule. That would have been it for me right there. Because it never gets any better, right? The beginning of a relationship, this dude is doing everything he can to get into this country, and he still can't keep it in his pants. So that would have been it for me. And with all this other stuff lined up, it seems like a pretty easy decision here. This guy, he's a piece of work. I mean, I think that I would just let it go at this point.
I'm with you on that one. I mean, the man couldn't be on his best behavior before he even had the visa in hand. That was everything you needed to know. But we've crossed that bridge already. But at this point, I would stop now, count my losses before it gets even worse.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat with y'all. I think this guy sounds incredibly sketchy. I think this relationship should have ended at the infidelity, because that tells me everything you need to know. If you can't behave before you guys are in a committed marriage, then that behavior is going to follow you into that. So I'm with both these guys.
She sounds like she's a determined person and she wants to make it work. But if somebody keeps showing you time and time again that they're not putting in that same effort, it's time to walk away.
Yeah, my guess is as soon as he crosses whatever citizenship finish line this is to where he can stay here, this marriage is over. I'm guessing that he wanted to get back together after the thought of divorce because there was some kind of legal thing that was keeping him in the country. This is just speculation, but there's so much crap going on here. She's the one putting everything into it and is risking everything, and he's showing her nothing. I'd say bail now, man.
Bail now.
And if they do get a divorce, just clarifying, Claire, does that mean how long is she going to be fiscally responsible for him if they get a divorce?
So even if they get divorced, she could still be on the hook for paying anything that he can't make for the poverty level, which I think is around $20,000 a year. Mm-hmm. So whatever he doesn't make, so if he doesn't work at all, he could sue her to pay $20,000 a year, which I don't think he would do at this point because he knows that they don't have that money. But that could change at any point. Even if she's in another relationship in the future, she would still be legally responsible for him unless he decides to give that up himself, which she did ask him, like, hey, if this wasn't about the visa, if it isn't it, then willingly give it up and walk away if you're not happy with me. But of course he's not willing to do that. But she doesn't want to give up on a marriage without trying therapy and stuff like that. But I'm kind of with y'all. I don't think therapy's going to fix this. And then who's going to pay for the therapy?
Exactly.
Yeah, I feel like this guy. Yeah, this guy's just holding on. He is just 100% holding on. I'd bail now, okay?
All right, thanks, y'all.
I think we're all under the same impression here.
Get out of there.
The Bert Show.